Hi, my name's Andy Wolford and I'm speaking to you from Florida.
My name is Willem Koostra and I'm speaking to you from the Netherlands.
G'day, Brett Campany, I'm in Australia.
Hi everybody, I'm Josh Hunter. I'm a flight instructor and aircraft controller from Washington, D.C. in the U.S.
And I'm Richard Midson, who you've seen many, many times before, unfortunately. Right, let's get on with the fashion show and find out what our panel of experts from quite literally around the world think of these aircraft. And let's start off with the Beechcraft Starship, an expensive flop commercially, designed by Burt Rutan, who's behind Virgin Galactic's aircraft as well. It was meant to rival BizJets, but it was still slower than them, but equally expensive. What do our panel make of them? Andy?
Well, what can I say? Burt Rutan, in my book, can do absolutely no wrong. I think it's an elegant aircraft, twin turboprop, beautiful lines, as good as it gets, and I think it does exactly what it says on the tin. It was designed as a luxury small aircraft. It was also the chase aircraft used for the Spaceship One private manned suborbital flight, and how cool is that?
Willem, what do you make of it?
Well, it is hurting my eyes with this canard, or is it a pointed moustache? I don't like the rudders on the wingtips either. It looks like the builders have mixed up the construction drawings. My first impression was that this is something out of the famous American science fiction television series Star Trek. It looks futuristic and menacing, as if on the way to a galactic battle. It also looks like it is flying backwards, ready to make an instant retreat. The looks take quite a while to get used to, and in all, no, I don't particularly like it.
So Willem's a big fan. Brett, what do you make of it?
Oh, look, I'm with Willem. She's 21 years old, $5 million. I mean, seriously, it's a design that should have stayed on the drawing board. It's an ugly looking thing. I don't think it's meant to fly, to be honest. I think it's a fake. It's a model. Nah, not a fan.
Josh, what do you make of it?
Well, I have to respectfully disagree with Willem and Brett. I think it's a very futuristic design, and unfortunately it came 20 years too late. I think if it had started now, it would be a lot more popular, but it just came too early and fizzled out.
Yeah, I personally agree with you, Josh. I think it's a beautiful aircraft, but yes, why did it cost so much? Why did it take so long to actually do? And what a shame that it's being scrapped. Perhaps now would be the time to do it. But more importantly, let's get some scores. Andy, what do you reckon?
Well, this is a fashion show, and out of fashion, 8 out of 10.
Willem?
Well, I would say 4 out of 10.
Brett?
Mate, I'm with Willem, 4 out of 10.
Josh?
I have to say a solid 8. I agree with Andy.
And I'm going to say 7, because I think it does have failings, but it's still not bad. Right, let's move on to the next one. We'll have final scores at the end of this. And this is the Boeing 777, Boeing's mid-range aircraft between the 767 and the 747. It's been popular due to its relatively, as far as a wide-bodied airliner goes, fuel efficiency. It was one of the first entirely fly-by-wire aircraft as well, meaning that the computers had control. Andy, what do you make of the 777?
Well, I think it's Boeing's attempt to outdo Airbus. It is fly-by-wire, but it's a very conventional aircraft in all other respects. I think it serves a market. It's a wide-bodied jet, twin-engine, ETOPS operation. Cool design, but I think Boeing is still playing catch-up with this.
Yeah, Willem?
Well, this Boeing 777 airliner has the classical shape of the modern passenger aircraft that I've grown up with and like.
Right.
She has soft lines and is elegant, like a beautiful woman. She has charm. Look at that nose, these beautiful engine cowlings and this tail fin, and the wings spreading out as to embrace you. This design may be classical, but it's a sight for sore eyes. She soothes the eyes. She gives me a warm feeling, and I wonder if there's also a windowless freighter version of the 777. I would like that too.
Oh dear, Brett, come on.
Oh, look, Rick, if it ain't Boeing, it ain't going. It's a beautiful-looking aircraft. You know, every pilot wants to fly. They all want to get up there. Look, it's a great-looking aircraft. I mean, how could you not look at that and say, oh, that's just pure, beautiful, just stunning. Okay. I love it. It's great.
Josh, come on, Josh. Get some reason in here.
Well, all you guys are raving about the 777. To me, airliners all look the same. They're a metal tube with wings. I don't find any particular visual appeal. It does a great job functionally, but if this is a fashion show, fashion-wise, I just don't see what the big deal is.
No, I think it's completely dull. It looks no better than a tube of toothpaste. It's just a cylinder that carries passengers. There's no class to it, no style, no nothing. They just don't make interesting-looking airliners. Boring as anything. Let's get the scores, guys. Andy?
4 out of 10.
4. Willem?
I'll give it 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
Brad?
Look, 7 out of 10 for the 777.
Josh?
I got to go with a 3. Can't go any higher than that.
I'm going to be very generous. Being British, I'm going to be polite about it and say it's a very, very generous 1. Okay, moving on. Oh, come on. I'm sorry, Willem, I disagree. Right, let's move on, guys. LegacyXLRG. Cruising at 150 to 180 knots with 4 people on board and a pusher engine. It's got gull-wing doors like a Lamborghini car, and the canard design makes it very stable as well. And amazingly, this is a kit aircraft. Andy, what do you make of it?
Well, I think for a kit aircraft, it's pulling on exactly the same resources as the Starship we looked at earlier. I think it's a great little aeroplane for somebody on a limited budget to concentrate on a project by themselves. A very ambitious design. I like it. I think it's a winner.
Okay, Willem.
Well, it has similarities with the Beechcraft Starship, since it has a canard and also a pushing propeller. However, it gives the impression of being a very brittle and breakable aircraft. With both gull-wing doors in the upright position, it looks very vulnerable. Only the floor seems to hold nose bit and tail section together. It must have the strength of steel-reinforced concrete to stay in one piece during hard landings. This one may look fashionable to other people, but I give it a thumbs down.
Brett.
Well, look, I know what I said about the Beech Starship, but I tell you right now, I like this Velocity. It's a smaller aircraft. Maybe Beech should have taken along this kind of design. A smaller aircraft in this kind of design looks pretty sleek. It's stylish. It's sexy. I want one.
Josh.
I'm a big fan of home builds and kits, and the Velocity looks like a very fun little airplane. I agree with everybody else. A lot of connections to the Starship. But now modern, and so I think it's a great aircraft for now.
My feelings, it kind of looks a bit like a Porsche 911 for the skies, but obviously, unlike a Porsche which is stuck at 70 miles an hour, or whatever your speed limit is in your country, you know, this thing is going so much faster. Still carries 4 people quite comfortably, but I have to agree, just how strong does it look? I'm not sure about that. Let's get some scores. Andy, what's your score on this?
Well, I would give it 9 out of 10 if it wasn't such a small aeroplane. So I'm going to have to modify that slightly and make it about 6 out of 10.
6? Ooh, Willem.
Well, I'm sorry, but I have to give it a very low score. Again, 4 out of 10.
No. Rob.
Sorry, guys, I'm going to have to make up for this one. She's going up there. She's a 9 out of 10 for me. I love this little kit aircraft. It's beautiful.
Josh?
I go with a solid 9. Right up there.
Yeah, I don't think it's perfect. I'm going to go for a 7, which is rather more than what I gave to the Boeing 777. Right, well, let's have a look at these final scores, and if my maths is right, and hopefully it is here, we have got, out of the first 3 on here, the winner so far is the Velocity with 35 points, then the Beechcraft Starship with 31, and the Boeing 777 at 23. But we'll find out more with our other aircraft in part 2.